Hi, I'm Richard and I'm one of the pastors at Wood Green Evangelical Church in Worcester. How are you coping during this strange season? Being unable to meet up as believers is hard, and I for one can't wait to get back to church. However, this season of lockdown is also an opportunity. Ephesians chapter 5 verses 15 and 16, Paul says this: "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil." The old King James version of the Bible used the phrase "redeem the time." And as believers, we want to make the most of every opportunity. We don't want to waste time. We want to redeem the time. So how can we make the most of this season? Well, there have been many changes over the last few weeks, haven't there? But one of the most significant is an emptying of the diary. We have a lot more free time on our hands. Most of us aren't travelling to work. Most of us have evenings in, either on our own or with our families. Many of us have more spare time than we would normally have. And I want to encourage you to redeem this extra time by being intentional about using it to invest in your walk with the Lord. It'd be sad, wouldn't it, if we wasted this time-rich season as believers. In particular, I'd like to encourage you to reclaim or restart or rediscover a habit you may have fallen out of, but that is well suited to this current season. That is, the daily joy of meeting with God and delighting in His Word and in conversation with Him. Previous generations of Christians used to refer to this daily time as a quiet time. But whatever you call it, it's really just a regular time with God, investing in our relationship with Him by listening to Him in His Word and speaking to Him in prayer, and maybe even singing to Him in praise. For many of us, normal life is busy, and this relationship time with God is squeezed out or rushed or neglected. But this season of lockdown is a unique opportunity to kick-start that relationship time with God. Now, I know many of you are already doing this, but maybe you're not, or maybe you're unsure where to start, or maybe you're on your own and want a bit of company to help you. Well, I want to share with you something I'm going to be doing. Starting on Monday, the 20th, I'm going to be posting a daily devotional video that I hope will benefit some of you to help us have this daily time with God and grow in our faith and in our understanding of some key doctrines. I'm going to be working my way through the new City Catechism Devotional via a daily weekday video. You may already be familiar with the new City Catechism. We've talked about it before at Wood Green, but if you've not heard of it, let me explain what it is. A catechism is a series of questions and answers that teach spiritual truths. In times past, Christians often learnt about God and the gospel and grew in their faith by learning a catechism like this one. In Christian history, there have been some famous catechisms put together to help Christians of the time grow in their faith and be confident of the truth. Two such examples are the Heidelberg Catechism, which was written in 1563, and the Westminster Shorter and Larger Catechism of 1648. However, as with all documents written hundreds of years ago, these catechisms can be hard to access for people today, which kind of defeats the point. That's why the New City Catechism was written a few years ago. While drawing on these earlier catechisms, it's a new series of 52 questions and answers split into 3 parts. The first 20 questions in part 1 are all about God, creation, the fall and the law. The next 15 questions in part 2 are all about Jesus, redemption and grace. And the last 17 questions in part 3 are all about the Holy Spirit, restoration and growing in grace. Some of you may have done the children's version of the New City Catechism with your kids, but from Monday I'm going to be working through the full version of the Catechism, all 52 questions and answers, reading from this devotional book that's based on it. Each weekday we'll look at one question and one answer, and I'll read part of the reflection in the devotional related to that question. These reflections have been written by a whole host of well-known pastors and theologians, including Tim Keller, Alistair Begg, Don Carson, John Piper, Kevin DeYoung and Mark Dever, to name just a few. Don't worry if you've never heard of any of them, just trust me. These are guys I read and listen to feed me, so they're good guys. Each weekday morning, a new video will appear on our YouTube channel at 8 a.m. and hopefully on our social media feeds as well, if I can work out how to do that. And the plan is to work through each of the 52 questions and answers. All I'll be doing is reading the question and answer for each day, and then a Bible passage that's related to it, and then reading a shortened version of the reflection that goes with it, and then praying. Each video will, I suspect, be about 3 minutes long, and if you stick with me, we'll have done all 52 questions and answers in a couple of months. And maybe lockdown will be over by then, we just don't know. So why not join me from Monday? Let's invest some of this lockdown time in growing in our faith, in our understanding of who God is and what he's done for us, and in our relationship with him. Let's try and get back into good habits, or refresh those good habits if we're already in them. Hope you can join me. See you Monday.